All right. Welcome to Guarantee News. My name is Garrett Sims, and today we have a episode about a topic that is very prevalent right now, um, being looked at a lot of different sides. But yeah, we're gonna go into it. I don't like doing a lot of intros. If you're watching this, I appreciate it, whether it's for a minute, second, full video. But please like and subscribe. Like this video and subscribe to GS Studios, GSTEWDIOS. You see it right there up the top over here. I had it on the wrong screen. You see it right here at the top. But yeah, other than that, thank you for watching. So today's video, or this video, is going to be about something that I saw. I saw it on Black Indy Live a couple of days ago. Man live streams ICE raiding his vehicle near downtown Indianapolis. Video captured ATF State Police and HSI, branch of ICE, taking part in the arrest. So this was a video that I saw a couple of days ago, and then tonight, honestly, it's March 10th. Tonight, watching the news, I saw them talk about it again, and it just brought it back up to me, and I just really wanted to make a video about it, so I'm going to. All right, so first we're gonna just start out. We're gonna watch the video in case you haven't seen it yet. I guess I should do a trigger warning, because I'm just gonna be with you. It's not like extremely violent, like where I would say trigger warning, where some of the videos you would see it just super just outrageous, but trigger warning. You know, it's violence. It's violence. So I'm saying trigger warning just to let people know.
Please open the door.
Yeah, okay.
Open the door.
Este window.
Open abre la puerta.
¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué hicimos?
Abre la puerta.
¿Qué hicimos?
¿Qué hicimos?
Somos con la policía. Abre la puerta
Sí,
ahorita.
¿qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? No estamos haciendo
No,
nada.
no ahorita. Abre la puerta ahorita.
Okay.
Abra la puerta. Policía.
¿Todo bien? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué hicimos?
Abra la puerta.
No tengo miedo.
No agarren nada.
No tengo miedo.
Open the door now.
No, tenemos miedo.
Open the door.
No, tenemos miedo.
Open the door.
¿Qué hicimos? Yo tengo miedo. ¿Qué hicimos?
No te muevas, cabrón.
No estamos haciendo.
No estamos haciendo
No
nada.
estamos haciendo nada. ¿Qué hicimos?
Give me some ID. What's your name?
¿Qué hicimos?
Hey, look at me.
No te muevas.
¿Qué hicimos?
Open.
No,
Give me
¿qué
some
hicimos?
identification. Police. Hey,
Deje, tío. ¿Qué hicimos? ¿Qué hicimos? Mira, no estamos haciendo nada, no estamos haciendo nada, no estamos haciendo nada. Así lo están tratando, no estamos haciendo nada. Miren, a la puerta no está bajando, ¿ves? Déjelo, tío, déjelo, tío. No estamos haciendo nada. No, mire, nos están agrediendo. Nos están agrediendo.
Open the door.
Así lo están.
Hey, apague el motor. Open the door.
Ya estamos obedeciendo. Estamos, ok.
Open the door.
Mira, no,
Abra la
Or you get
puerta.
tased.
Abra la
Open the door.
puerta. Open
No,
the door.
tengo
Open the
miedo,
door.
tengo miedo. Tengo miedo.
Here, I'm gonna go in and put him out.
Tengo miedo, nos están apuntando, no traemos armas ni nada.
Get out of the car.
All right. So that's the video. So we're gonna go through a couple things with this. This is about, obviously, illegal immigration, which is a topic that has been kind of going on in every single newspaper. You see it all the time today with the new president, Trump. This is what he ran on, and this is what he won on, because it's a major topic and conversation that people have no matter what way they stand on it. And this video, A, brings it to home in Indianapolis, Indiana, where I'm from, but B, for anybody, it shows a video and puts something in perspective, like for you to see right there, as opposed to just hearing people debate about it on stage, or hearing someone talk about it when you're going through the grocery store, or just hearing all the just different things. It's different seeing something than hearing about it. And really, I feel like one of the best ways, or really only ways, to make people feel something nowadays is to show it to them. So, which is kind of, maybe if you feel how you feel about that, but so this is a video that shows that clearly. Now, I'm just gonna be real and get into the both sides of this, right? So let's kind of, and let me pause that, stop that, and let's see. Let me go back to the video. We're gonna look at the video a little bit, sound off while I talk. So basically, when they're going through this, so we're gonna go through this article as well. They're telling them to open the door. They're asking what's going on. He's saying, I'm scared. What's going on? What are you doing? And you see right here, he's holding his wrist down. So and he's pointing a taser at him. So it's high level, it's violent, not violent, but it's high, it's intense. That's the word I'm looking for. It's intense immediately as soon as the video starts. This video, to me, because the way you could look at it is they're being so violent because the ICE agents and everyone are being so violent because they're not listening to them. But then you can also say that why did they pull them over? Why did they? And I guess what's the best way to just get to the point with this? I'll just tell the end. I'll just tell the ending now. These guys ended up being taken in, and they're here on a potentially expired work visa. So they are here illegally. So they are technically breaking the law, but so they are criminals, but they're treating them like violent criminals. And that's the thing that bothers me, because there's no, why did you pull us over? Did they do something? Did they do a traffic stop or something that made them get pulled over? Or did the cops know that they were going to be those? I won't say cops because it's not IMPD and we're getting to the article, it's ICE. But did the people bringing them in know, okay, we have a tip that we got and we know that these are these people. So regardless of what we're doing, they're taking them in. Then do you ask for identification? How are you asking for identification? Are you immediately banging on windows? Like, are you immediately coming into this with a high intensity of with violence? That's violence and alluding to violence. Or are you asking for identification for people that you know are breaking the law and bringing them in because, like, is this a conversation or is this a forcing? And I get once you start that it's a conversation, if it doesn't stay that way, it has to become a forcing, and they are breaking the law. But that video and the way that they went about doing it, I think is the main point for me with this. Is it's with a conversation like this, it's not about because illegal immigration is a problem and it does need to be fixed, but there also needs to be a fix of the way you come into the country legally. Because if there was a way that if there was a way that to do it that made sense, and you have Trump now offering it up for $5 million, that's another video. But if there was a way to do it that made sense, there would be less illegal immigration just off the fact that people wouldn't have the desire to do it. But then, so that's another conversation. But then you do have the illegal immigration as a problem. And we're going to get to a comment on the Black Indy post that I think leads me into this even better. But it's a way for you to do it because these aren't violent criminals. And they're on their way to work. They're wearing, you can tell. They're not, well, I don't want to say you can tell, but from the article that I've read, from what we're about to find out now, these aren't violent criminals. And I think that they knew they weren't violent criminals. I think they knew they were illegal and immediately chose to go up and treat them like violent criminals. And that's, I think, is the thing to me. Yes, they're breaking the law. Yes, they are criminals. But the way that these people are doing it, they have a right to be scared. The people, the two Honduran men that are being approached. And then again, when they ask, why did you stop them? I would like to know, like, is this a tip that they got to be able to know to immediately get them? Or did they do something wrong, but they're prepared? Look at them. This is ICE prepared with jackets on. They knew the two men that were in here were illegal, so they got some sort of tip, I would think, and they immediately went in 100%. I don't know that to be the case, but just looking at the video, that's what it seems like. And I think there is a better way to do it. There's a safer way to do it, and I think there's a more humane way to do it. This is kind of inhumane in a way. Now I hate to do this, but I'm a journalist and I have to look at the other side. I'm trying not to show like Instagram names because I don't want to do this, but I'm going to read the comments on this post. Sorry, I have asthma. It probably did sound crazy, a little wheezy. So Black Indy will have a shocking video circulating online, shows federal agents forcibly detaining two immigrant men in Indianapolis after pulling over their company van. Shout out to Black Indy Live, by the way. If you don't follow, I'm not telling you anything to follow them because you probably already do, but follow them. They do a good job. The arrest happened on West 29th Street and I-65 on February 28th. So kind of in the last month, actually, so a minute ago. So the question that they ask is, this incident is raising major questions about immigration enforcement in Indianapolis. Was this a justified operation or an example of overreach? Are you worried about the state of Indiana's high level of cooperation with ICE? Let us know your thoughts. So this incident is raising major questions about, let me go to the question. Was this a justified operation or an example of overreach? I think it's the answer to yes. It's justified to, if you know they're illegal, to question them and see if they have identification if you're getting a tip. It's it hurts to say that right now, but just that if they are illegal, that is a justified operation. But it was an overreach. But this was an overreach of their justified operation. I don't think it had to be done this way. I'm almost sure it didn't, and I almost want to believe that they came up to them, these 200 men, of the same intensity of the video we saw, screaming and yelling, just open the doors, shouting out. That's what I would believe. And if you're going to approach someone like that, of course their thing is to be scared, what's going on. Of course they know in their head if they're illegal, but they're also like, it's a crazy situation. I think they handled it wrong. I think the officers, the ICE officers arresting them handled it wrong. Now let me go to this, and then this is a comment. So someone said, let's see, can someone explain why they need to point a gun in someone's face just to check immigration status, which is my point of them doing it wrong. Then someone said that's a taser. It is a taser, but you get her point, or his or her point. And then someone else says, you do understand that illegal means they are criminal, and criminals can be dangerous, and ICE agents don't have an idea if there's weapons in the vehicle and they are refusing to obey the instructions they are being given. That's basically the argument I'm saying, but I don't agree with this take, and the end of what this guy says becomes absolutely outrageous, so I don't even know if I'm going to read it, but I don't agree with this take, because there's different levels of criminal, and you don't treat all criminals the same. Almost everybody's a criminal. A criminal is someone who breaks the law. That's why this is an unfair argument when you lean on this heavily and say they were justified in the way that they did everything in this video. Were they justified for going in and questioning them and asking for identification? Yes. But were they justified in all of this? I don't believe so. And I think it's an unfair argument because, like I said, everyone is a criminal. Everyone is breaking the law. If I were to put hand on the Bible, gun to your face, wrapped up in a truth detector, if you can get truth detector serum, have you ever broken the law? Yes, and I'll take it a step further. You guys have done misdemeanors. You're probably felons and got away with it. Everyone's broken the law. There's a difference between criminals and violent criminals. And if these guys are, and we're going to get into it, we're going to get into it where I'm going to read this article because it's going to give more information for why I say, if these guys aren't violent criminals, you don't treat them like that. You don't treat them like violent criminals. That's my opinion on it. And I make that face because they are technically breaking the law, and these officers do have a right to enforce that law. But also, again, one of the big things that Trump was talking about, where the illegal immigration, one half of it was that they're taking our jobs, which is, of course, is bullshit. And when I see I'm a black man saying this, so it's like, you know how Trump was like saying they're taking the black, that's a whole other fried thing, but he's saying our jobs like Americans. And then you have the other one that was a major one, that these are these violent criminals that are here and they're hurting women and they're robbing and they're killing and they're murdering, which does happen. And that's why when I get on that span of like, we do need to fix this, but then you see something like this and it's like, you have to be able to separate the two and know that there's a difference. And I think you do when you see a video like this and see what I'm about to read in this article. So that's why I call it an unfair argument. And that's why I say like this comment shows a perfect example of what I think is a unhealthy example, an unhealthy take, as I would call it. The whole like criminals can be dangerous, they're illegal, that means they're criminal, so they have a right to be treated like this. And I don't believe that to be true. That's what this is almost implying, and I don't believe that to be true. And I think when you go into this article, it kind of gives you more of that sense of these guys shouldn't have been approached and treated in this way. So let's go. You guys can see it, a video showing federal agents. So the arrest captured on video. So we can go through it a little bit quicker with this part. The arrest happened near the intersection of West 29th Street and Interstate 65. We saw that from the Black Indy Post. So the officer can be seen standing against the upper passenger. His vest indicates that he's with Enforcement and Removal Operations, a division of Immigration and Customs. Officer grips the passenger's wrist with one hand and points a stun gun at his chest with the other. You see him grabbing the wrist. That's the kind of that like immediate like kind of like violence. It's intense. That's the word I keep using. It's immediately intense. In the video, the driver can be heard asking the agents what they've done and what's going on in Spanish. I think they deserve an answer to that. Hey, we're stopping you because we think you guys are illegal immigration. Can we see illegal immigrants? Can we see we're with ICE. Can we see some identification from you? And if they did that, that's what I'm saying. We didn't see this video, and looking at the video, I doubt that they did. I think it was do get out of the car, come out of the car. We're arresting you now. We don't have to explain ourselves to you because we know you're illegal. Get the fuck up. And that's not right. That's not right. That's not right. You could just tell from, even though I don't know and more information can come out and I have the right to be wrong with more information. But at the moment, just looking at that video, I doubt that they started with like, hey, introduce themselves. We're stopping you because of this. You didn't even do anything wrong this morning, but we're stopping you because we got this. Because if that's the case, everything was different. But that wasn't the case, and that's not a lot of times what I think happens. And that's the thing. And it's the who, like, or who's being, and that's who's being prioritized in this. Like when they say, because priorities matter when you're doing anything. So, and that's why the other question where they say, are you worried about the state of Indiana's high level cooperation with ICE? Yeah, I am for sure. Even though this is a problem, I'm worried about how they're fixing that problem, which is a lot of things with Trump's second term in office right now. Is just like some of the problems you're saying maybe, but the way you're fixing them are insane, which is what people probably were. Another video. We'll keep going. So open the door. We are with the police. The ERO officer responds in Spanish. Don't talk. Okay. Crazy. I mean, multiple officers command the driver in both English and Spanish to open the door. The driver again asks, "What have we done?" "No, I'm scared. I'm scared." "No, we're scared. No, we're scared." "What did I do? I'm scared. What did we do?" he says in Spanish. "I'll force you," the ERO officer says, tucking his stun gun into his chest. The men continue to ask what they did. They're not getting answers. This is why I'm saying that I feel like this is that whole violent criminal versus criminal. You're treating them like they're murderers that murdered 5 people, and you're like walking in with like a million people like kicking down the door like a movie. Like it's like these are criminals, like violent criminals. I think violent is the key word because they are criminals. But again, back to the point, you probably are too. Give me some ID. What's your name? An officer asks in English. Hey, look at me. So this is, give me some idea what's your name. But at this point, again, that's why it's like, you got to look at the nuances of these things. It's very important because, yeah, he's asking for ID and they're not listening, but like it's already to hear, like that's why I feel like it's a big thing for police officers not to just be like tough and like scary and be able to beat people's ass, but to also be able to have good communication skills, like real communication skills, and be able to not even escalate, because there's no need for de-escalation if you're not even causing an escalation. So you get what I'm saying or you don't get what I'm saying, but that's kind of just how I feel about it. The camera turns to face the English-speaking officer who's standing next to the driver's side door. His vest says police but does not specify an agency. Indy Star reached out to the Indianapolis... Listen. Indy Star reached out to the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department and asked if any officers assisted with the February 28th arrest. The police department said it is unaware of any IMPD officers participating in the arrest. They're unaware. I think... Okay. So no, yes or no? You're unaware. Okay. So you're unaware. So it could come out that they did and you didn't know. Fair enough. When the camera turns back around seconds later, the passenger can be seen trying to break free of the hand on his wrist. Yeah, he's fighting, the officer says. And 2 more officers come into view behind him. Insignias on their uniforms indicate that one is from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, and the other is with Homeland Security Investigations. The passenger puts his hands up. The ERO officer wraps his hand around his neck while the ATF officer leans over his shoulder, pointing a stun gun. Okay, we've watched that. We can go. Where are they now? And according to public records, both men were booked into the Marion County Jail before they were transferred to an immigration holding facility in Clay County. The driver remains there, according to federal records. The passenger was moved to a second facility in Illinois before being sent to the Alexandria Staging Facility in Louisiana, a 72-hour holding site located at an airport used in part for deportation flights. Neither man has been charged with a criminal offense related to the traffic stop, according to public records. That makes me more think that they had a tip-off and knew, which is why even more makes me think that they purposely went on 10 in that manner, because they knew we are in the right because they're criminals, so we can treat them however we want. That's the vibe of it, but it's like, again, the main point, violent criminals versus criminals. You don't treat criminals like violent criminals. Is that the name of this episode? Maybe. The passenger had entered the United States via work permit, but it may have recently expired, his wife told Indy Star. That's important. You don't treat criminals like violent criminals. Criminals are still, everyone's a criminal. You get what I'm saying? That's my opinion on it. She didn't know why either of the men would have been targeted by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement or what events may have led up to their arrest. That's a big question. She hopes her husband can return home as he's the sole provider for their family. He's working jobs in Indiana to help pay for treatment for their 3-year-old handicapped daughter, his wife said. So prayers to their family. That's sad. That's sad. And again, she didn't know why either of the men would have been targeted. That's another question of like the priorities of, obviously, all illegal immigration is immigration, but if there's violent criminals here, if there's immigrants here that are not making, because you're going to let people in for $5 million. So we know the problem isn't the fact that there's illegal people here. The problem is that people are here illegally. We know the problem isn't that there's people from other countries here. It's that people are here illegally. But there's so many different nuances with that. I don't think you should be able to say, I just think when you see a video like that, it's hard to agree with treating criminals like violent criminals. I really think that's the point, and I think there was an overreach with that video, and I think Black Indy asked the perfect question, and I think the answer to that is, yeah, I am a little nervous about Indy's cooperation with ICE, even though I know that this is the law and this is a problem that needs to be fixed. I'm worried because of how people are going to be, how they're going to do it, the means that they're going to, and that's a microcosm, my home, of the entire country. If you can tell, this was a touchy one for me because this is one of those ones where I genuinely feel I don't like it and I think they did it wrong, but it's like damn, they are criminals. They were going to be taken in regardless, and if they didn't start it with such if the ICE agents didn't start it from such an escalated point, maybe it could have went differently. But now it's like the focus on something that's like where it's hard. Now the focus on it is just like, no, this is not right. This is not right. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't look good. It doesn't seem like the proper way to do something. There's a right way to do the right thing, and there's a wrong way to do the right thing. Just like people say, or there's a wrong way to do the right thing. Even just like how people say, like, oh, there's a right way to do the wrong thing. There's a wrong way to do the right thing. It's like, yeah, bro, like they're criminals, but that just isn't. Doesn't look good. And even though we didn't see the start of it, that's where I'm going to end. Even though we didn't see the start of it, to see exactly how it came up, to see if maybe they did start it unescalated, I couldn't see it being that way.
Okay.
Open the door. Police, open the door.
Yeah, okay.
Open the door.
He's saying, yeah, okay, but what did we do? Okay. Yeah, we don't see the beginning of the video. That's the only point where I'm like, okay, but I don't believe, but look at him, bro. At this point, the door's open. I don't believe there's any way that they were trying to communicate with these guys in a manner that wasn't very, very, very escalated and angry immediately. So yeah, we'll continue to talk about immigration in Indiana, in Indianapolis, and in the country because I think it will continue to be a thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if we keep getting more of just, hey, we got a violent illegal immigrant that's here, but then we have someone that is just like actually probably better than a lot of, like doing something good, working, supporting a family, and they're getting treated like violent criminals, let alone getting put out of the country or not being given a way to become in legally. They're just getting kicked out, but on the way out, being treated like violent criminals, being separated from their families. There's a way to do it. There's a way to do it, and we'll keep covering it. And I'll get better because I'm sure I sounded like I was wishy-washy as hell. But overall, this is sad. I don't think you should see this and just be like, who gives a fuck? They were breaking the law and they're criminals. I guess that's another point as well. Seems weird asking for a follow after this, but it's the customary thing to do in this business. Nah, I'm not going to do that. That sounds like great. Yeah. Thank you for watching if you're watching. Have a good rest of your night. Stay prayed up. I will come with some show reviews. Pause. I'll have some show reviews coming up, so there'll be, tell you some shows to watch. All right, peace out. Peace out.